So this is a quick update on my Crystron deck on Master Duel that I've been playing. As you can see, I am currently in Rated Duels. This is not a common occurrence because usually I play Duel Links and I get to King of Games in both Speed and Rush, and that takes a lot of time. But this month I have even more time to spare, so I thought I would get to the top of Master Duel ranked as well. I don't think anyone cares about my Crystron deck list, but I'm making this video anyway, and you clicked on the video, so let's have a look. So let's have a quick rundown of the ratios. We have 1 Citri and 2 Tristaros. So the reason why we're playing Citri is because it just makes your end board better. It's an extra tuner that you can synchro with, and also you really want the Citri when you get hit by Maxi and Fualos, because you can summon this alongside the Tristaros and you can just leave them on the field and then pass turn, and then those are 2 quick synchros that you can use during your opponent's turn to play around your opponent's Fualos or Maxi. And 3 Smiger, 1 Fistfern, these are pretty standard ratios. 3 Inclusion, 1 Foolish Burial, these are the 1-card combos. 2 Selfifnir and 3 Sulfador. So some people play 3 Selfifnir and 2 Sulfador. I think either one is fine, but basically Selfifnir is better going second because it doesn't lock you and you can make SP. But Sulfador is better going first because it doesn't give your opponent a free draw if they chain a Fualos on the Selfifnir or Maxi, because Selfifnir is really bad into Maxi. When you activate Selfifnir and your opponent chains Maxi, they just get 2 draws immediately. But Sulfador doesn't have this problem, so it's a bit better to play around hand traps. And 3 copies of Tidal, which I think is the best kind of consistency tool that you can play in Crystrons. So usually people play Millennium, which doesn't work under Impulse. If I'm not playing Impulse, I'll probably play Millennium. But Impulse is such a good card that I think you should be playing Impulse and then not play Millennium and play something else like Tidal. And it's better than Terratop because, first of all, you don't need to play Take Tomborg, that's a really bad brick, and also doesn't play under Impulse. Also, Tidal has this advantage that it doesn't lose to a whole lot of hand traps, so it plays under Droll, Nib, all the Mochamis, and some other engines like Millennium even, they lose to Droll pretty badly, and Tidal doesn't really have this problem if you sequence correctly. For non-engine, we have Triple Veiler, because we really need as many answers to Draco Tail as possible. It's not really that good against Yummy, even though you can pair it with like a Ghost Spell and still get something out of it, but it is mainly for Draco Tail. You really don't want Draco Tail to set up, so this is for that. 2 Maxi, it's gonna go to 1 pretty soon, but you want to play as many as possible, obviously. 3 Ash Blossom, 3 Ghost Bell, mainly to defeat the Draco Tail stuff. You can also obviously use Ash Blossom on your own turn to negate Fualos, but sometimes, honestly, you might just let the Fualos resolve and then just keep the Ash Blossom, because this deck doesn't really lose that hard to Fualos anyway. And speaking of Fualos, we have 3 Fualos, and 3 Imperm and 3 Impulse. Impulse also is here to beat Draco Tail because we really want a lot of answers to Draco Tail. We're not playing the other Draco Tail counters like a Retaliating Sea or Evenly Matched, because those are a lot worse against non-Draco Tail decks, but Impulse is just a good card against also Mitsurugi and other decks as well. And also gets really good if you go first because you don't even need to lock yourself. And even if you go second, the lock isn't that big of a deal, because even though you're locked out of using Dragster and Infinity, you can still use Quarian Gandrax and SP, which are the 2 best cards going second to get rid of your opponent's stuff anyway, so the lock is fine. The extra deck, we're playing 1 Macabre. I know that sounds cringe because people used to play Macabre because if they nib you on Nova, you can trigger Nova to summon the Macabre. But even though that's also a use case for Macabre, this is mainly for going second when your opponent tries to pop your Nova, because if you have 2 level 5s, your opponent might wait for you to make the Nova first and then pop the 1 Nova instead of needing to pop both level 5 monsters. And if they get greedy and wait for you to make Nova, you can punish them by summoning the Makaba. For the Synchros, we have one XL Synchron. We needed to make the XL Synchro Stardust Dragon using the XL Synchron and Fistburn, which the Fistburn is frequently part of your end board because of this reason. You use it alongside XL Synchron to make XL Synchro Stardust Dragon, revive back Tristaros, quick synchro using Stardust Dragon into a Baron, and this card is just an Omni-Negate, so no reason to not play it. Samurai Destroyer is for Nib Insurance, 2 Dragster, 2 L Skeletors. These are pretty standard ratios in Pure Crystrons. 1 Quarren Gandrax. The main boss monster you make mainly going second to clear up your opponent's board. 1 Baron, as I said, you can make it pretty easily. Nova Infinity, Clockwork Knight, and SP. SP is mainly here for going second to get rid of your opponent's stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's have a look at a couple of replays. Okay, so we have 1 replay going first and 1 replay going second, so we can see how well this deck does in both cases. So obviously this deck is a lot better going first because the deck, the kind of monsters they put up are kind of weak to an established board. But when you go first, you can play around a lot of different hand traps just by the fact that your cards don't really play into stuff like Droll or Nib or the Molchamis that hardly. So we open with Foolish Burial, and that is a 1-card combo, but because we also opened with Cluster, we can extend a bit further and also protect ourselves completely from Nib by making Infinity as our 5th summon. So usually, even if you can't make Infinity on your 5th summon, you can still use Tristaro's Quick Synchro to make a Samurai Destroyer, and then when the Nib resolves, it tributes the Samurai Destroyer, and then you can use the Graveyard effect to revive back something. That is kind of a way to play around Nib, but it isn't a full counter because you still lose access to Infinity. But if you can make Infinity as quickly as possible, not only do you negate the Nib, you also prevent your opponent from ashing the Graveyard effect of Tristaros. And when I was playing this in real time, I did notice a delay on my 5th summon, so I know that he has a Nibiru as like his only hand trap, so I will be prepared for that because he will be able to Nib on his own turn because we, as you can see, we're summoning a lot of monsters on their turn as well. We're gonna make an XL Synchron as soon as we could so that we can make a Baron on the field before he can commit to too much. So we're gonna XL Synchron, make the XL Synchro Stardust Dragon, and then tag into a Stardust, and then make a Baron. And that's a lot of summons, so he could immediately try to Nib, and we can just negate with Baron. And the Nib will be negated and destroyed, and we still have a lot of interruptions left. And after that resolve, we will immediately make a Dawn Dragster, because now that we know that they're on Mitsurugi, we can prepare for his ritual spells. He'll go Habakiri, that's completely fine. We only are worried about his ritual spells, so we will save our negates for that. So he will try to go Mitsurugi Ritual, we'll go Dumbest Impulse. We want to save the Dawn Dragsters and the Infinity negates for as long as we could, because those are the more generic negates, and Impulse and Bell are the more situational negates. So he's gonna try Mirror, we'll negate with Bell, he's gonna use Prayers, we negate with Dragster, and that's pretty much all he could do, I think. Unless he has some other engine other than Mitsurugi, but even then we still have the Infinity Negate, and that will be an easy win. Okay, this is game 2, we are going second, and because of the amount of non-engine that we're playing, this deck is pretty good going second as well, as long as you don't draw too bad. We are playing 20 non-engine, so really high chance of us drawing 2 to 3 hand traps. Opponent is going to do Fiendsmith combo, we're gonna save the Ash for the Requiem, and he's gonna go and Cold Vibe, which is completely fine, we still have 2 more hand traps. And basically we're waiting for the sequence, or if he doesn't make sequence and makes Caesar using Necroquip, we can save the Imperm for our own turn and then just negate the Caesar, so the Imperm is going to do a lot of work either way. So he's gonna go and summon the Engraver. And then we will turn off the toggle until he summons his sequence so that he doesn't suspect that we have an imperm. And then when he tries to use the effect, we'll chain imperm and negate that. And then he's just gonna set to and pass. And even if he does have something else, we still have the 1 impulse in hand in case he has some form of extender. But either way, we top deck a Smiger, which is really good when you pair it with Self-Ethnia, because this deck has a lot of good 2-card combos, so having Self-Ethnia and Smiger is one of the really good 2-card combos. It plays around a lot of things. So our opponent will drop it to negate our Sofador, and he sends his Orcust Crescendo, which tells us that they're playing Orcust, but doesn't really matter because we are gonna win anyway. And we can banish the Smiger from grave, get inclusion, grab just arrows, and then keep playing. And then he's just gonna scoop. So yeah, that's basically it. That's what the deck does, and thanks for watching, goodbye.